Sports Source is brought to you by Fast Frame. Turn your memorabilia into a work of art.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television. This is the Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning to you. I bet it's a much better Sunday morning than the last few for you Vol fans out there. Tennessee with a big win, 38-31 yesterday as they reversed the script from what you've seen previously. A coach under siege all week, a player dismissed, rumors reported as fact. Then you fall down 24-3. I'll admit it, I thought they were done. I thought the goose was cooked. I was wrong, and you got to give them credit for that. We'll discuss the big comeback and Josh Dobbs' incredible day all day today. First segment of our show, let's just get into it. Brought to you by Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. Whether it's Blount, Loudoun, or West Knox counties, Phil and his team have the best listings. Check out this two-story beautiful home. It is in a gated community in Farragut, just a mile from Turkey Creek shopping. You see the price, stacked stone and stucco. It is gorgeous. That shot there on the lower right where you're looking down into the living area from the upper deck of the home, very nice. Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. All right, just a tremendous win for Tennessee yesterday, and we got a tremendous panel to talk about it. Bob Hodge is with us, former Vol Will Overstreet, Jimmy Himes, former Vol David Ligon down there. All right, before we get into it, I want to talk about what this victory means. We have some stuff to quickly run through here and show you, and that is Tennessee's now 3-3 on the season. 1-2 in the SEC. They're 1-2 all time in Smoky Gray. Finally got a win in Smoky Gray. It was the Adidas to Nike switch. Tennessee now 1-25 in their last 26 when trailing by 21 or more. If that stat is correct, and I saw that yesterday on television, if that stat is correct, that means since 2005 you've trailed by 21 or more 25 times in the last 10 years. That tells you how bad. Now you're close at least. You're not losing by 25 all the time or 21 all the time. And Georgia's now 55-1 when leading by 21 or more since 2004. Mark Richt doesn't give them up like that. Most people don't. All right, the next little thing here is where this victory ranked. All-time biggest comebacks by Tennessee. You see the Vanderbilt game in '87, the Miracle at South Bend, and then this one tied. That one in LSU, that incredible comeback after Hurricane Rita, I believe it was, and then at Kentucky. All right, guys, with all the negativity this week that was swirling about the fan base. Oh, yeah, speaking of, I didn't, shocking. We'll be hearing plenty from Sterling Hinton today, I can assure you. With all the negativity this week, the rumors, the dismissal of Pig Howard, some people calling for Butch Jones' head, how important was that victory? You saw how toxic it got this past week in a lot of areas. Can you imagine 2 weeks of another loss and you're sitting for an open date? How big was this win for the program and for Butch Jones?
John, I thought it was his biggest win. I did, with all of what you pointed out. The open date with a lot of people would be hammering on him again if they lost the game. And in a lot of minds, this is kind of interesting. He went from, we need another coach, to this morning somebody said he's iconic. So that's quite an improvement there from the first half to the second half. But I thought it was his biggest win, and it keeps your season alive. If you lost that game, you're likely going to lose to Alabama. You're 2-5. It's kind of hard to rebound from that.
It's like people driving on an icy road. You just kind of swerve from he's horrible to he's the greatest ever. How big was it?
Huge. I mean, anytime you come up, you know it's a signature win when you have a 4th and 2 play that everybody pretty much that knows football is watching that game goes, he's out or he's in based on the results of this play. And I mean, that's what that game came down to, because at that point in time, going for it on 4th down, you're down 24-3. After that, the game changes. So, I mean, for this coaching staff, I mean, when you can remember there's one play in that one game, it is a signature win for you because it changes everything. And I think this team needed it, because I think if you lose this game, even if you fall a little bit short in this kind of game, this team goes away. I mean, it gets a lot worse. And I don't think there's any doubt that Butch Jones is not going to be coaching you very long if he lost this game.
Bob.
I really think that the big thing about winning the game is your players now go into this 2 weeks feeling so much better about themselves than you were. And like you said, they could go away if they had lost. Now you go in exactly 180 degrees the opposite direction. These guys now feel good about themselves. It's going to be better going to practice. It's going to be better getting up in the morning and going to class. And I think that's the long-term impact, or at least for the 2-week impact that you've got, is just how much better you feel about things. You're less chippy at practice. The coaches feel better at practice. It just puts you in so much of a better place.
David.
Yeah, I'd say it's such a big win because of all the external factors, the message board stuff and people calling in, people aren't happy, and then throw that in. You've got Alabama coming up 2 weeks, a huge game, a team you haven't beaten in a really long time. You lose this one, it's a tough 2 weeks. So hopefully it's a bit of a foundation to build upon. We'll see in 2 weeks if it's enough to get a victory against a big time rival. I don't think it is, but it could be.
We're talking about the negativity. I'm going to talk about the fan support a little bit later in the show, because for as much as people talk about, well, he's lost the fans, you continue to have a packed house over there. When Derek Dooley lost the fans, it wasn't a packed house over there. I think you just had a very, very, very loud group that were upset, like the next person. Here's what Clay Travis tweeted out yesterday during the game. Tennessee is total garbage. Anyone still defending Butch Jones at this point is an idiot. And that's the way you look when you are a fan and you tweet something angrily in the middle of the game and you wind up having to take it. All right. Will this be counted? You said signature win. Will this be counted as a signature win? Because I keep hearing he's never had one. His first year, he beat an 11-2 South Carolina team that was ranked 10 in one poll, 11 in the other. It knocked South Carolina out of the SEC East Championship. Down the road, is this one going to count as a signature win? Not what you see today. Down the road, will he be given credit for a signature win?
And I think you got to see what happens down the road. I think if this team goes 8-4 and wins a bowl game, finishes the season 9-4, I'm assuming that they don't beat Alabama, but they beat everybody else. I think it is a signature win. But if you lose to Alabama and then lose to Missouri or Kentucky, I think it takes some of the shine off of it. So I think it's just too early to say it's a signature win.
Well, I mean, I think the reason is it is a definite mark in your coaching career, because this team was gone. To me, you look at the people's eyes and everybody's gone.
It looked like it. The team didn't, though. The team came out ready to play yesterday. They go down 24-3. They come back. How much are we projecting onto the team what we're hearing on a couple of radio shows?
Well, but there have been some things that have been coming up that have been showing, that you can kind of tell. You do see chippiness. You see people coming off on the sidelines and talking to each other, and it's a different mode. It's more nervous and anxious. I mean, I think that whole group felt, if we don't do something here, this is the end of this. And so that's what I'm saying. For this group, it was more, and I don't know necessarily you're always going to have fans that are going to be against you, but I think you had to have something that you could tell the team going into these 2 weeks of, see guys, we were that close against Florida. You can't sell that to the fans, but you can sell that to the team that see you can win these games, and you just need a few more plays.
There you go. Jimmy, David, what do you guys think? Signature win?
I would have put it at South Carolina a couple years ago. I think the important thing to keep in mind is when we stop talking about signature wins, that's when things have gotten better to the point where we would like it to be. Because, during the 90s and early 2000s, did we talk about signature wins? No, we talked about you got to win this game and hopefully you're in Atlanta at that point and take care of business the rest
in
of the
98,
year.
you talked about Philip Fulmer beating Florida was the signature win for him. But, yeah, you're right. You went through a stretch there where there were a lot of just wins. Jimmy.
Well, that South Carolina win 2 years ago, what'd you do with it? You still didn't go to bowl, right?
Yeah.
So that takes a little bit away from that quote signature win. I'm with Bob. It depends on what you do with it from here on out. One thing, though, that is a signature is that Tennessee plays better from behind. I wouldn't recommend you getting down 21 points to everybody the rest of the way.
Spot 'em.
But they seem to be better. They went for the fourth downs. They threw the ball more over the middle. They did some things that they needed to do to come back and win it. So it looks like they play better from behind than with a lead.
Well, I think the key is, too, never get a 14-point lead in Neyland Stadium. Never again. You're down there close, kick a field goal, go up by 10.
I think you got to give the team credit, a lot of credit, because, boy, I had real doubts with all the stuff that had swirled during the week, whether or not they could come into that game and have much fire left. And when they're down 24-3, I'm thinking, all right, it's lay down time, and it was not. So give them all the credit in the world.
I thought they should have gone to Dormady in the second half. Without that last 2 minutes, I thought they should have made a switch at halftime.
And Gary Danielson on CBS kept referencing it. Well, you wonder if that's going to happen. You guys know how that works just like I do. Coaches meet with those color analysts and the broadcasters before a game. The color analysts then come into a game and they say 2 or 3 things that make them look brilliant because the coaches have kind of laid something out. The fact that Danielson kept mentioning, well, you wonder, are they going to go to Dormady here? I'm not so sure they didn't ask Butch Jones about that, and he said, well, we'll have him ready. Because Danielson said it an awful lot during that ball game yesterday. That is a total guess and rumor, but I identify it as a rumor. See, it's different. All right, when we come back, send us your tweets, by the way. Right there you see the Twitter account. We will answer your questions a little later in the show. We'll turn it over to our all-VFL panel. When we come back next, was this the turning point for Tennessee's football program under Butch Jones? And also, we haven't talked about Josh Dobbs yet. His high highs and some shakiness. We'll talk about it. Come on back.